Welcome to episode 153 of Wealth Talk. My name is Christian Rodwell, the Membership Director for WealthBuilders, and I'm joined by my side by our founder, Mr. Kevin Whelan. Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Chris. Good to see you again. You're all over the place today, aren't you?
This is like our fifth take, yes.
Yeah. By the way, you was making the mistakes. I'm just the normal.
Oh, dear. Need to hold it together.
You've had a hard day today, Chris. We had a little session together doing some kind of copywriting, didn't we? Wealth Builder Wednesday. We often do, thinking about our members, thinking about how we can bring more value, better value, because it's tough out there, man. We've done 2 episodes on inflation. It's doom and gloom. It's miserable out there. Everybody's unhappy. Prices are going up. Our property members are troubled by how difficult it is. The market's overheated. Our developer clients are finding prices of everything going through the roof. It's tough, and yes, there's creativity out there, but I think what we want to do is kind of recognize that it is tough. And I think you've been working hard, haven't you, Chris, on the workbook, and we looked at some of that today. Best part of 200 pages now, sort of a step-by-step, so that people can interact with what they're doing on their wealth building journey. But I think what we decided to do, and we might as well kind of stick to that decision now we're going live on it, is give people the option of the self-study, so that there's a lower cost, easy access way that they can combine the workbook with the intellectual value that we're bringing. And while we don't want to diminish the value of coaching and those sorts of things, we think that's really important. I think we've got to give people a chance to get started, to learn the skills, Chris, to build wealth in troubled times. And I said in my BizX speech in front of 2,000 business owners, the new order is disorder. So we're going to try and bring some order and some recognition that it is tough out there, and try and help as many people as possible. And we obsess about giving free stuff, Chris, and we're not shy about giving away free information, free content. But I think it's time to give people the option to just get closer to us, Chris, get a little bit of experience of what the Wealth Builder journey is all about, but at a fraction of the price that they would pay if they were coming in the normal way. So I want to do that, not because I'm a royal, not because there's anything going on, but just because it's convenient, a date in the diary. I think if we make it as a little Jubilee offer to celebrate, because we're Brits, aren't we? And we don't mind a pomp and ceremony that's going to come with that. Let's just give people an offer that gives them an opportunity to participate in Wealth Builders, but with prices going up, why don't we take the opposite view and make the price go down? Why don't we do that?
Yeah, so we've been working hard, as you say, Kevin, on creating a self-study program. So it's the Wealth Builders Academy without coaching, really. So it's more accessible. And I think probably this episode, Kevin, it'd be really good to maybe just recap on, almost a bit of the history of Wealth Builders, just a quick recap of why you decided to start Wealth Builders and what was the trigger, the catalyst for you, and then where we've come in the last few years to launching our membership program. For perhaps listeners who haven't been with us since day one and perhaps just locked on recently, they like the idea, but nice to actually just open up and share how we've been building the business and how we've been helping more and more people every year to reach their financial independence level.
I've got no idea, Chris. I'm getting too old for this. No idea why it was all started. Joking apart, I mean, I think the big vision where we're trying to get to is we realize it's difficult to be financially independent. We realize that trading time for money, having an over-reliance on one stream of income, whether it's a job, whether it's a business, is tough. And it's, that life is so uncertain. And the only way to create certainty is to create recurring income. Because recurring income in multiple streams, multiple ways that we refer to as pillars, gives a lifetime of certainty. And we think spending a few years building that certainty to then be free for the rest of your life is worth taking. But we know it's difficult. There's time issues, the money issues. People don't always open their mind to it because they get confused. So I think what we're trying to do is make Wealth Builders a central hub of excellence when it comes to the art and science of building wealth. So we're seeking out in our kind of new remit, the best in the world at anything that's supporting the wealth building journey. So the best educators, the best thought leaders, the best suppliers, the best connectors, the best, and bring that to our membership. So we've negotiated, or will negotiate, because it's an ongoing thing, special discounts, special value, special ways that people resonate with our values, and they want to know that they can access without having to Google everything and search and not know whether they can trust, to find people who are engaged with wealth builders as experts in their own right, that we take some time to resonate with, take some time to due diligence, take some time to evaluate what they do, and curate the best content in the world. So whatever you want to do, whatever pillars you want to build, where we've got our own intellect and we've got our own value, we bring that. But where we don't teach it, we bring the best in the world. Whether it's in property and multiple strategies, at least 20 strategies in property, whether it's in stock market investing, in many ways to do that. And I keep banging the drum about so many people just leave their money in the hands of others at a high price, when a small amount of time to learn what to do would save a lifetime's worth of fees. And, we can teach this in days, not decades, So I think that's what we're trying to do. And it kind of came from, the original idea came from the late, probably about 1990, I suppose, when I realized that probably couldn't save enough money as an employee to be wealthy by the time my dad died, which he was 46. So I vowed personally and to my wife to be financially independent by 45, because I knew it was going to be tough, so I didn't know what I was doing. No guides, no mentors, no path to follow, no breadcrumb trails to left behind by someone else to pick up and move towards. There was no bridge. I had to craft my own story, and I think that's what I've done. And over the years, just with your help as well, and with others in the team, just pulled all of those ideas out to give people a path to follow. So whether they follow it with us, they can have the copy of the roadmap and design their own course. Nothing wrong with that. But I think what we want to do is it's not just about intellectually understanding it. It's about the education of how to do it and do it properly, knowing that you don't know everything and it's what you don't know that counts. Knowing that there's support of people who are don't have a hidden agenda, not trying to force you down one path or another. There's no hidden agenda whatsoever of how you build wealth. Everybody builds it differently. And building a community of people to share with each other. And I think that's what's been very powerful over the years, Chris, is the community spirit of people sharing with each other. This idea of helping somebody else who's behind you, but reaching out to be helped by somebody ahead of you. And I think it's time to accelerate that community. It's because it's getting harder. It's the environment now is the hardest I've ever seen it in my 30 years. It's just crazy hard. So I think people need help. And that's why we want to accelerate and give more nourishment to the community and give ourselves more air. Hence, there's more social stuff going on. I'm sure people will notice that, because we want more people to get the message and do something about creating certainty in their life, when the opposite is likely to be the case, a life of uncertainty and worry. And I just don't think that's right. And I think there are so many ways to help people, and we're trying to harness the support of other people that we trust, the black book that we built over the years, and try and bring everybody together to drive incredible value to the whole community. And that's what we're about. So I just love people to be part of that community. Whether they pay or don't pay is not relevant, but we'd like to make it easier to be part of it, not spectating around the outside. There's a lot of football going on at the moment, isn't there? So every night there's a European football tournament, and you and I are both big football fans. But it's nice to be a spectator, but to be wealthy, you can't spectate. You've got to participate. It's not a spectator sport. I think too many people are still spectating because they're nervous about getting started. So we want to make people or help people take step one, because only when you take step one will you take step two. And this is true in business. You have to find a way to give people easy access to say yes, not self-servingly because you want people to buy, but because if they say yes, they're giving themselves permission to take step two and then step three. So while we spend a lot of time building the course from the top down, we've got a fantastic program, but while we believe it's accessible, it's still not accessible to some. And now we can bring little pieces of that puzzle for free or for tiny cost to let people discover something that they can do and go, yeah, that was easy. I can do that. They don't have to think too hard about it. I know I'm rambling a lot, but is this making sense?
Yeah, well, it is for me, but I know the subject well. I think we just want to make sure that we've got, as you say, something that's accessible to as many people as possible. And whilst we absolutely value the importance of education, support, connection, and which every day, that's absolutely at the heart of everything we do. And that connection, when it comes to building wealth, is in the way of accountability. It's in the way of our team of coaches for those that are working with us. And we see that the acceleration that our members get when they have that one-to-one connection with someone who's already been there, someone who's already got that track record, that experience that can guide them and really help them shortcut. But we know that things hold people back, perhaps uncertainty, it's lack of trust, of just not really knowing who's out there and who to believe. Lack of funds for some people. There's so many things that hold people back. And so not everybody is ready to commit to, joining the academy straight away, which is why we want to, take a step back and say, okay, well, let's give you something. Let's, give you some of that education so you can go through that yourself. And whilst, our academy program at the moment is kind of done with you, our self-study course, which we'll be launching next week, will be more DIY. And whilst we don't really like the DIY method.
Watch out. The three most dangerous words in the history of wealth building. I don't have a problem with DIY, and I know you didn't choose the words just to feed me a line here, but I'm just going to make a cautionary tale here. DIY is fine for low ticket items, low risk items, things that can easily be done. I don't mind wiring a plug, but I wouldn't wire a house. I don't mind painting a meter, but I'm not going to paint an entire building. You can't DIY your teeth. You can't DIY. You can probably DIY. I can DIY my hair, right? That's easy. Bit of buzz, that's fine. But you can't DIY brain surgery. You've got to get help rather, where something is complex. And I think as the world is starting to come together, Chris, and we will definitely be launching kind of networking events. Certainly in the UK at the start, but increasingly people are asking us if we can make our knowledge and our ideas available in other countries. So if you're in another country, by the way, it's an interesting one because we had some people in different countries reach out to us recently. If you think there's a message that you would like to get going and you can support that, you can essentially be a star, a beacon in your own country or indeed in your community or in your city or your town. And you can help us create networking events so that for a few pounds, nothing more than a few pounds, you can meet with other people who've gone ahead of you on the journey, and they'll share what they're doing, and they'll do so willingly at no cost, really. And we'll get our community to do that and try and grow it that way. So a whole raft of different ideas to try and bring more wealth sharing into the world, as well as making the whole academy more accessible to more people just by being a lower cost at a time when life is troubling. And I get that.
Yeah. So in terms of DIYing there, so certainly going through the education, by yourself. But as you say, you've got access still to our community, still getting access to our help desk. So Monday to Friday, we have a help desk there. So any questions that you have, you can always reach out and get that support. And of course, now the help of the workbook, which you've mentioned there. So, checklist frameworks for every one of our 9 steps. The ability to really watch the videos of all the content that we've recorded inside our academy program, but then really getting those ideas out onto paper and being able to, actually put a plan together. And that's the purpose here, is to get a clear plan to move from A to B, A being that point of insecurity.
Yeah, and I don't think that's DIY. I think that's self-guidance, in the same way as if you consider the journey of wealth building is like, I'll give you a parallel. Let's say you go to a beautiful city, wherever that city is that you hanker for going to. Use Rome as an example because it's a beautiful city. You can go to Rome, you can buy a guidebook, and you can enjoy the tourist side of things, but with guidance, because you can read a book and that will help you stay away from things that are more dangerous or more touristy, trying to rip you off, and look for recommendations from others. And that's normal now, isn't it, online? But there are others who would prefer to have a guide. And when I go to a country, I like to have a guide. I like someone who knows, who can talk to me, who can show me things. Because by physically being shown, you get a more enjoyable personal experience. And that's important to me, but it's not important to others. So I think there's nothing wrong with some guidance. So I think it's self-guided, Chris. I think the new program is probably more self-guided than DIY, because DIY means you kind of, working it out as you go. And this has already been worked out. It's just go at your own pace. Nobody's holding you to account. It doesn't stop you, though, from finding somebody else and holding each other to account. So you can create your own community or join in the free community, come to the networking events as we begin to craft and create those in the coming weeks and months, and find other people who can help and support you. So you don't necessarily have to pay for someone to hold you to account who knows a bit more and who can guide you if you believe, you can take some simple steps to move partway up the ladder from insecurity to security, then onwards to independence. It's going to be slower without all of the real genuine support, but I think I'd rather people get started and get there in 7 years or 8 years rather than 3 to 5 years. But that's fine.
Yeah. And as we say, it's all based around our roadmap, and we know this is a proven process, and it's really for employees who are ambitious, successful. They're in the rat race at the moment to some respect, but they know that that's a precarious position to be. It's one source of income. It could be here today, gone tomorrow. So it's for employees who want to start to build that security outside of their job, but also business owners who are already generating income and profits from their own business, but again, very reliant on that one source of income. So it's that holistic view, diversification across multiple pillars, and that's exactly what we teach.
Yeah, I think there's kind of an interesting challenge for the high paid, the successful employees, is that they get used to a high level of income, and the pension situation never ever replaces that. And then if something interrupts that income, then you come down to earth with a big bump. So that over-reliance on a single source of income can be very dangerous indeed, and we've seen that, and we know work is precarious. So having something else to start to build it, whatever pillar you choose, is just a way to begin to build your own bridge from employeeship into, I suppose, entrepreneurship, because in the end, all people who are wealthy are doing so by finding solutions to problems and crafting those solutions. So I think we're all entrepreneurs. So it's budding entrepreneurs, isn't it? It's entrepreneurs and budding entrepreneurs. Because most people who transition from work into being financially independent are doing business-like things in a business-like way, whether they're doing property, whether they're doing investing, whether they're doing franchising, whether we've had that in the last few weeks, whether they're building their own business and creating something new. It's all about entrepreneurship in some way and being creative. So I think that's the best thing to do. And I think I was talking recently to some business coaching clients, and one of them said to me, what advice would you give if I'm an employee? Because she was surrounded in a room full of business owners. I think she was one of their support team. It's a great question. And the answer I gave was, look around you and pretend you're on a team. So don't see it as a job. See that you're playing in a team, and choose a good team. Choose a team that's going to teach you, and do your best for that team. You perform at your highest level for that team. Learn what you can from that team, and then move to another team who will serve you better and help your growth, and you're adding more value. So constantly think about how that team needs to be successful.
And I think, coming back there to who the program's for, who we serve, who our current member base is, just have a listen to some of the member spotlights that, we bring in every month. We invite one of our members to talk about their journey. We've been doing that for the last 2 years now. So just have a look, scroll back through, have a listen to some of our members telling exactly what things have been like from their perspective. And of course, head to Trustpilot. You can read all of our reviews, and I think we're like 99.9% 5-star there, apart from the odd one or two, which, hey, we respect everybody's views, and always try to improve and take that feedback positively and constructively. But yeah, 99% great reviews from people who genuinely making progress, moving forwards, and enjoying the process. And that for us is so important. In fact, in our Declaration of Independence, which we ask all of our members to sign when they join, it's one of those key points, is about sharing and enjoying the journey.
Yeah, I mean, it is a very enjoyable journey. And while it's daunting at the start because you don't see what's in front of you, it's just a big gap, It's a chasm between financial insecurity and independence. It's often, if it's zero in recurring income and it's, say, 10,000 per month you'd like, net of tax, net of expenses, if that's the gap, that's huge. You can't build that bridge in a very, very short space of time. You got to take step 1, step 2, step 3, and you're building the bridge as you go. And I think you're building the support mechanisms underneath you as you work and surround yourself with great people. And we see that a lot as well, that somebody's helping somebody else, not for profit, not for a share of anything, but just because that's the very essence. And that's very different for many employees who've worked with us, Chris. They don't see that in their normal day job. They normally see sort of, I don't know, a competitive element, let's say, or people keeping themselves to themselves. Whereas this is very much more about collaboration, because you can. And that's what the networking is all about.
So I guess just to recap then, let people know what can they expect to see in the self-study program when we launch that next week. In fact, on Tuesday, the 24th, we're just going to do a short launch just for our community. So this is going to be a special Jubilee launch, because, as we say, we've put this together and we want our trusty, listeners to really benefit from this. So before we release it to the masses, we're going to do a discount, and we're going to do that on the 24th of May. And it's going to include everything that's really in our full academy program, except that one-to-one coaching experience. So you're getting your Wealth Dynamics token, really important. You understand your profile, your strengths and weaknesses. You're getting the opportunity to create your own wealth map as well. So that mind mapping process where we put everything down on one page, like you've never seen your wealth before. You're going to send out a wealth chart, so you can put that on your wall. You can track your progress every month and fill your asset income thermometer up. You're getting all of the recordings of our masterminds from the last 3 years, all of our experts we've invited in. We've got around about 35 expert masterminds there across each of the 7 pillars. And you're getting the monthly Q&A call with myself and you, Kevin, an opportunity to ask questions directly, to get that contact with us every 30 days. And we should say the partner benefits. So you talked at the beginning there about the importance of having that network, and our job to really find the best of the best and bring those people into our community to offer discounts and benefits that you won't find anywhere else.
Absolutely right. So I'm determined, and look, people like our values, other businesses that we're meeting and have met just say, we love dealing with your WealthBuilder clients because the value system is so innately good. And so they want to get more of that. And as we grow our reach, Chris, into the thousands, and the tens of thousands, and then ultimately to 50,000, which we've stated before we want to help 50,000 people to become completely financially independent, and 100,000 people dramatically slice the cost of having their money in the stock market. These are bold and ambitious plans, and some of those partners are willing to share our message with their audience because they resonate so much with us. So I think it's going to be very exciting next year, 18 months, 2 years as well, to put all this together, because it's not easy. We're building our own bridge, but we chunk it down into 90-day programs called rocks, and we work out the rock. And you're finishing the workbook, Chris, which is part of your rock for this year. My rock is to develop fantastic partners with unique benefits and discounts for our membership, and I'm proud that we made a good start to that. So looking forward to that being completed soon. And then the family program, Wealth Builders for Families, how to be a great money role model for your kids, and the community opportunity around that, and the case studies of kids doing fantastic things. They don't have that same fear as the grown-ups do. They do wonderful things, and I'm so pleased that we've already got a whole number of case studies that we'll be sharing, but we're inviting you, by the way, if you're sharing knowledge, lessons, inspiration that your kids are doing, and they're doing some really fascinating things, just share them with us, because we'd love to feature you either on a podcast or on a case study as the Wealth Builders for Families program launches in this country anyway, and then obviously ultimately in other countries as well.
Yeah, lots of really exciting things that we're working on for launch in the rest of this year. But if you're listening to this podcast when it's just come out or before the 24th of May 2022, then we've got a special offer. So if you're wanting to get access to our new self-study program, then head to wealthbuilders.co.uk/Jubilee. We're going to put together a special Jubilee discount, but that's only going to be valid for a matter of days. So we're going to launch that on the 24th of May, probably no longer than for that week. So you'll get a special discounted price. As with all of our programs, we offer a 60-day money-back guarantee. We want to make sure this is 100% right for you, give you plenty of time to try it, use it, experience it, and if you're not happy, just let us know. We always offer a full refund. Yeah. So that's our guarantee. And if you're listening later, if you're just catching up with an old episode, then we'll have this available at wealthbuilders.co.uk/academy. So there you go. And we're looking forward, obviously, to working with many, many more new members in the coming weeks.
Well, I think we can do a little bit better than that, Chris. So why don't we offer somebody a free spot?
That sounds like a good idea.
One of our listeners, right? So what will we do? Anybody who registers,
let's do that.
Capture the list, and then on one day we'll record it, because then we'll do it sort of, live and on camera, if you like. We've previously done it before, haven't we, with the sort of wheel of opportunity, spin the wheel.
Yes, it. Spin the wheel.
Wherever the wheel stops, that person gets, and we've done that before, and that's a bit of fun. And why don't we do that? So just register. So where do they go again?
Yeah, okay. So for everybody who just pops a name into wealthbuilders.co.uk/Jubilee, so just head to that URL, just put your name and email address in, and we will enter everybody into the spin the wheel, and we'll give away a free program to somebody.
Yeah, cool. So that's good, Chris. So I think we did a good job of responding to the doom and gloom of the inflationary pressures that we've been documenting and sharing lessons in the last couple of podcasts. So hopefully this one's a little bit of inspiration to give someone a free place and other people an opportunity to create their own security for the future, when that security is so looking so further distant for so many people as prices go up and their disposable income is getting pushed and pulled from every direction. So we want to do something to help them.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll continue to deliver our free podcasts every single week with no plan to stop there. So we hope you're enjoying this. If you have enjoyed today's episode, if maybe you know someone who perhaps would be interested in looking at the program, joining us, working with us, send and share this episode. And as always, Kevin, we'll be back same time, same place next week.
We will indeed, sir. And until then, my friend, see ya.